coaches, same association of around the world from the Super Falcons, listening to Boom Radio.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. It is time for Phoenix Sports right here on your Boom Radio NG, reaching you from beautiful Lagos, Nigeria. Can I call it? Yeah, it's sunny Lagos. Yeah, it is sunny. But of course, it's not about the weather. It's all about sports. My name is Shola Rogers, and I've got with me the man himself, the man them called.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're listening to us from around the world. My name is Cornelius, and I bid you a beautiful, beautiful welcome to the show. It's a packed show today, and of course, football rounding up around Europe. A lot of cup games over the weekend. We'll be giving you details about it. Roland Garros, of course, is center stage again. And of course, when you talk about Roland Garros, something that is very synonymous to that is, of course, the called Rafael Nadal, the great man himself. He will be playing in a couple of hours, his first match of the competition. Will it be his last? Is it the end of an era for the great man, talking about Rafa Nadal? All of this will break down for you to you today on the show.
That's what it is. He has said it. He calls the shots, is the one pulling all the strings and all of that. Yes. And of course, I don't know why he has sent out on Rafa. I don't know what Rafa do, my guy. This is now something where they cause fight between me and this guy. But we go fight this fight today because you're more or less like trying to, end the guy's career, and I don't know why.
Well, what's there? He's playing against very, very he's of course one of the new generation players. Of course, you won't say upcoming anymore. You will say he's probably arrived. Of course, he just recently won the ATP 1000 series. I was talking about the Italian ATP 1000. He just won that a couple of weeks ago. He's going into that competition with a lot of form. You understand, of course, that the ATP Italian 1000 series is what really kicks off the clay season. It's the big one after the 1000 series, of course. Then, of course, the biggest one of them all, the Roland Garros. It's interesting to see, Shola, if Nadal were to lose today to Zverev, I'm sure he probably retires. And I'm sure the organizers of of Roland Garros themselves will be prepared for this as such.
It's the end of an era, more or less. Things are happening. We are looking at names that we were used to. Then it starts to also make you know that even you save the old now. So, but you're expecting those guys to play forever.
Well, it seems like they've been playing forever. I mean, talking about Nadal, of course, Djokovic, another one. Of course, we know the great man Federer has hung up his own. Is it rackets? When he retire,
he hung up his balls. We're talking tennis, aren't we?
Of course, tennis.
Exactly.
Purely tennis. Yeah. Okay. Fascinating weekend of sports around the world. And of course, in the Nigerian Premier League, it was goals galore. Sola Rogers.
Man. The interesting thing is that we're back to all the teams playing at the same time. And there were one or two interesting results, if I'm allowed to call them, because on the road, it's rare, but this season we've had quite a few of them.
Away wins.
And Enyimba did it again this time, and I was so excited about it. Not only did Enyimba do it, Aqua United also, did this away win thing. And the reason why I'm saying it is so that people understand that the Nigerian league is an amazing league, and it's not a league to be trifled with.
Yeah, just so that our listeners out there, when we say all games have been played at the same time. Of course, the Nigerian league had been on some break somewhat.
Yeah, there was a break.
And you would have been surprised that only team Rivers United had been playing games over the last couple of weeks.
They were playing catch-up.
Yeah, that's what they were doing. They were playing catch-up. That is as a result of their continental commitments. And, of course, they had to play their outstanding games for all teams to be on the same number of games. And of course, the games weekend proceeded and saw instead with Shooting Stars going away and getting the result at Katsina United. That one ended 2-2, Shola.
the result that you talked about is massive because they didn't lose. Shooting Stars have been on the ascendancy in recent times, and going on the road, getting a point from Katsina is like winning a game.
Interesting. That's a huge one. Not an easy feat to do in the Nigerian Premier League. To go away and actually get something out of the game. And like Sola emphasized, you gave me a number of teams were able to do that over the weekend, which we find fascinating. It makes the league more interesting, makes the league more competitive. And of course, other results saw the likes of Kwara United beating Remo at home by 3-2, while Sunshine Stars were held to a 0-0 draw by Bendel United. Of course, Lobby Stars lost at home to Aqua United. Fantastic result for Aqua United there. And of course, Enugu Rangers beaten Bielsa by 3-0 out there in Enugu, while Rivers United were victorious over Sporting Lagos by 4-1.
Yeah, Sporting Lagos not covering themselves in glory in that one. But, the story that I'm hearing from the back end is that these guys are in it for the long haul. They are not going to be a flash in the pan. So no matter what happens to Sporting Lagos this season, they're going to be here. They're going to build a stadium. So regardless of the result, I'm happy that we have an investor who is a private investor and who's willing to take the Nigerian league serious and extend it to that way. Hoping that other people can buy into the Nigerian league also, so that our players and our talents get exposed, and not all of them, gets to think that there's no hope. If you play in the league, there's hope. Remo Stars, you talked about them losing, but one of their players is going to play for the Super Eagles. He's been invited to the team. The other guy that was invited had left, sadly, for, I think, Tanzania or somewhere. It would have been two of them. Then, of course, Ojo Olorunleke making up that list. So we need this list as home-based players. It's just getting better. The league is just getting better.
Yes, Shola, without a doubt, the league is getting better, and that's what a lot of us sport fanatics out there have been clamoring for us to see our league, become as competitive enough, like it was, like the glory days, and perhaps we might be onto something here.
Yeah, onto something we are, and that's what it is. We will, of course, let you know that the Nigerian league is not ending anytime soon, so don't worry. But the table, let's quickly just run through the top three teams. They have all played 33 games now. There's no talk of any outstanding games. And as it stands, Enugu Rangers are topping the table. They have a 4-point lead on Enyimba, who are in second position with 56. They have 60 Rangers, and Remo Stars have 56. We have a comment on Facebook from Akin Ibitoye, and it says, it's no surprise that the North African clubs dominate the CAF Champions League. That's a sore point for me. It's something that I personally feel hurt about, knowing how well we were doing in the 80s, 70s, and even 90s. And these guys they were rivals. Now they are our Ogas.
Ogas, you may call them. However, this all boils down to the leagues. The level of the leagues. Imagine the likes of the Algerian league even saying they would like to break out of CAF and actually, go join the Asian Federation and things like that. It shows the quality in their league. You understand? And have you even seen the traffic of Nigerian talents actually, going out to these leagues and actually having a better career than that they have at home? This is what we're talking about when it comes to grassroots football, and it's a lot of work. It starts from the head. It starts from the NFF. They need to look at that league, restructure the league, and try to put emphasis on making the league actually better.
We have a couple of comments here on Facebook, also from Akin Bitoye. He says, no Nigerian team has been able to follow up on Enyimba's success on the continent. None. Yeah, correct. None. And he also says, we can get it right. The talents are bound and evidenced by the global stars with our local names. Do you understand? Like, one of my favorite Super Eagles players, Paul Onuachu, just went crazy a few days ago in Turkey. You saw that goal. People talk about Paul Onuachu being a box player, he's tall and everything. What did he show you with that goal?
Well, of course, I know you point your fingers at me because, of course, I've been one of those, not critic somewhat, but I'd like to see the player do better. I just feel, he should move better, and of course, beautiful goal over there, out there in Turkey for his club side, and of course, more of that will make it will give Coach Finidi George a headache on how to pick his World Cup qualifying squad. Interesting to see how that one plays out with Osimhen not having the best season with Napoli, and of course, Boniface having a fantastic season with Leverkusen, and of course, Paul Onachi also showing his what out there.
Yeah, you've not mentioned Demola yet.
Of course,
he still scored yesterday again.
Demola Lukman. You know what? When we're talking about the number 9 position, of course, George Finidi actually has a headache. Interesting to see how he does. He's called a couple of players to camp. I'm very impressed with the list of players he's called. So and things like that.
Akin wants to know. He's asking a question on YouTube, and he says, "Whatever happened to the allocations from FIFA?"
Shola. I'm not going to blab about this one. Perhaps maybe you should answer this one.
Why Mew? A wise man once said, his name is Dibanj. He said, why Mew?
I'm going to push this one to you. I mean, it's a tough one out there, Akin.
Okay, look, let's not waste time on it. The thing is that the NFF are not being transparent with any of their income. Regardless, maybe it's IGR, maybe it's allocations from FIFA based on their performances at the World Cup. That's why FIFA gives them money majorly, and maybe it's from funding by the government. So there's IGR by the NFF, there is funding from external bodies like FIFA, and of course there's the budget from government. We don't know because they don't publish their statement of account. Let us know how they're spending this money. The women got some allocations from FIFA for their performances at the World Cup. We're waiting for that. Even the men. So that's the answer to it. So he also has another message. I'm loving it. Keep it coming. I would like the gaffer to be given enough time. Enough with all these revolving doors. See the Senegalese coach, the Ivorian coach, the Cameroonian coach. Let me tell you something. I totally agree with you. My good friend Colin Udo put out a tweet talking about the Nigerian under-17 team failing to qualify for AFCON, under-17 AFCON. What that means is that they are not going to under-17 World Cup. That's what it means. And again, they keep bringing back the same coach or the same coaches over and over and over again. And all of these guys, from my experience and my observation, all they do is bring players that they think can quickly get results. Under-17 is about discovering talent. Allow all the academies, send players, do your screening, take a whole year. Look at what Yemi Teller did with that under-17 team. Look at what Amonike did with his own under-17 team. But you see, Nigeria, before you know it, suddenly there's an under-17 team going to play somewhere and they're out.
And that's what I try to say. I just don't like to call out the NFF. Like a brother of mine said, he said it's important to actually give them a chance to at least do their job. Rebuilding it's not easy.
This is part of us helping them.
In some cases, rebuilding,
we're helping them.
Start from the scratch. But the truth about it is, I've said this so many times, the problem with Nigerian football is from grassroots football. It's from the top and at the same time from the bottom. The top needs to understand that if they're going to build Nigerian football to the way the glorious days of Nigerian football, they need to go back to the grassroots. That is where the talent is. Make sure the system that goes through your under-17 is proper, and well organized.
All right, we are still here on YouTube, and we're urging you guys to please like and share this video. Leave a comment like Akin Bitoye has been doing. We really appreciate this comment. It keeps us, it's our Philip. And all of that. But we're going to flip now away from local sports, and we're going to go foreign. And at the weekend, there were 5 cup games being played across Europe, in England and Germany and Greece and Scotland. The games were played across board, and also in Greece, Celtic versus Rangers. There was Panathinaikos versus Aris. There was Leverkusen versus Kaiserslautern. There was Lyon versus PSG, and there was Man United versus Man City. It was actually Man City versus Man United because Man City was the home team at Wembley, and adjustments had to be made. One of the adjustments was that the FA told the United team to change their shorts to a different color and all of that. But the most important thing was the results, and Cornelius, you have this game.
Yes, it was a fascinating one. Of course, bookies would have would have been cleaning out on that one. That one saw, of course, Manchester United defy all the odds and of course beat their city rivals, noisy rivals they call them, by 2 goals to 1. Fascinating game for the Manchester United, and of course, Ten Hag actually, saved his job, because if you come to look at it, Mikel Arteta at the time when he got the Arsenal job and when he was almost, being losing the Arsenal job, was in a similar position. He finished somewhere in 8th position or so thereabout, and of course he won the FA Cup, and the club were patient with him and see what he's doing with the club right now. Contesting for the trophy back to back. So the question out there will be: is Manchester United hierarchy, are they going to be patient with Eric Ten Hag? A lot of us Manchester United fans will tell you they want him out the door already. And, it's interesting to see how that one plays out over the summer, but we need to watch that space.
All right, Akin Bito says, as a Chelsea fan, I was actually hoping Man United would roll over so that we could play in the Europa, but as it is now, we're looking at some trips to some remote parts of Eastern Europe. And I can't see the other comment.
Yeah, what he's basically trying to say.
Those were the last set of words there. So quickly let me say that I have a feeling that the management of Man United don't know what they are doing. This man, in 2 seasons, has played 3 cup finals and won 2 of 3. And the only one he lost was against Man City, arguably the best team in the world. He had a terrible season solely because he had a terrible back room. And why was that? The game against Arsenal at Old Trafford, United, of 9 reserve players, 7 of them were from the academy. Do you know what it means when you have 7 players from the academy playing against a team like Arsenal? There's nothing that you can do. They're going to steamroll you. So for me, he has done enough to keep the job. But if they sack him, good luck to them. Akin Bito says ETH is a gunner. No two ways. The avalanche has already started. It will sweep across the whole league, apparently, because players and coaches have been moving. And one of the shocking moves ever in the history of football was that a coach that got relegated with a small team is now going to be coaching a big team in Germany. I'm happy for Vincent Kompany.
Yes, Vincent Kompany. An interesting one to see. I think Bayern Munich, they recognize the need for stability. Thus, I see that's the reason why they have, gone for that appointment.
Can I tell you why they went for that appointment?
You tell me.
Make I give you the angle.
Okay.
They are looking for Pep Guardiola light.
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola light. The nearest one is with Arsenal. Yeah. Who is the next one? Kompany.
I get what you're saying.
Yes.
I get what you're saying.
Moving on.
However, so to buttress.
Bayern joke. Na joko.
Yeah. So I mean, to you talk on what Aki spoke about Chelsea being relegated to the Europa Conference League. Of course, that also means that Newcastle will miss out on European football.
Completely.
Totally. And of course, Manchester United get to play in the Europa Cup. And of course, that is not a bad thing, considering the riches that come with playing in Europe, and considering the fact that, considering the players they will be able to attract, by playing in Europe. Yes, of course, the Europa League is not the Champions League, but I mean, it's the next best thing to it. And, it's for me, it's a good one. I'm sure Manchester United fans won't want to hear this, but I'll say they should, the hierarchy in Manchester United should, leave Ten Hag on and focus on cleaning out the board up there, because they seem to be in shambles as far as I'm concerned.
All right.
Things like that.
Akin Victoria says Oliver Kahn and co obviously have a case couple of itchy fingers. Not too sure about then again. Alonso has proved us wrong. Yeah. Because it's not always about one former player being so great at it. But guess what? This Alonso guy took a team that was almost on the verge of relegation and made them champions. I'm talking about that. They also went and won the DFB Pokal at the weekend, even a few days after losing Europa, which would have made it, 3 games completely unbeaten throughout the season. But you cannot downplay. Losing to Atalanta does not take anything away from the amazing season that they had as Leverkusen.
Yeah, of course, it doesn't take anything away from it. Of course, after the likes of Bayern Munich and of course Dortmund, who have dominated that league over the years, it's not a small feat at all for Leverkusen to actually, make the win the German double, which is of course a huge thing. Congratulations to Leverkusen on that one.
Again, Peter says on the bright side, Chelsea have not won the Europa Conference League yet. That elusive trophy. Elusive it is. I mean,
so you have an opportunity to reach out and to make that yours and that's honestly, your trophy cabinet.
If I was a Chelsea coach, I would prioritize this league, this Europa Conference League. For history's sake, I'll prioritize
I
will.
Another club who, Akin, forgive me for this, something has to be backing, up there is Chelsea. The fact that they've gone out and sacked Pochettino, who, of course, was doing a good job at bringing these young players to life. They've gone out and shopped for a bunch of young players.
Let me tell you.
I don't know where they go about this.
Let me tell you, Pochettino has one Baba somewhere that's cooking something. The Baba just got up mistakenly. That's why they sacked him. Because I don't know how he gets all these high-profile jobs. I don't see him as a grade A coach. I've said it over and over and over and over again. Pochettino has coached PSG, for God's sakes. What were his achievements there?
I mean, you're not alone in that thought, but I mean, I personally, I actually like the coach. I see him as.
Oh, I don't hate him, but I don't think he's. I think he's overrated.
No, I don't think he's overrated.
Your opinion and it's valid.
I just feel for some reason, I'm indifferent about him. I think he's a very good coach.
So quickly, we're crossing home. There's a whole lot that we have not touched on. We're just going to breeze through.
Okay, so we'll go to Roland Garros and talk about a number of the results. Of course, the 2024 clay season kicked off a couple of weeks ago, of course, with the Italian ATP 1000, which was won by Zverev, and of course, it's the Grand Slam time now. Talking about Roland Garros.
There are a lot of comments that I have to take.
Okay.
Yes, I have to take this. Akin Ibitoye said, "Leave story. That Atalanta team could wipe the floor with any EPL team, save for City." All right, I agree with you. Those boys, they ball. You must give their coach a lot. Gasparini must give him a lot of kudos. He said Todd Burley is a kid with a toy, in my opinion, and that's Akin's opinion. The toy na Chelsea. Akin Peter also said, I feel SR's take on Pochettino, but taking Spurs to the UCL final stage is no fluke. It is a fluke. That's why I can't do it again. BT616, says Cornelius Makpo needs to greet we elders before we go area greet. These are our regulars. Greet. No. And of course, Aggie says runners up in the league is also there. Pochettino now jazz man, they work for her. The jazz don't spoil, don't cast. Peterman says, so Apostle finally, so this Apostle name don't stay now, no problem. Apostle finally deported Dolupo back to Ekiti. She's on her way back from Ekiti. Don't worry, the Boomba is still going to come at 3 o'clock. This is just Phoenix Sports, and we're supposed to leave now, but we can't leave without running through the other sports.
Of course. So I'm just going to give you a quick run. No shocks here out there right now in Roland Garros. Everything is going out to plan. Not very good for Andy Murray. Of course, we suspect he's one of them guys who's, of course, he's had a beautiful career. His career is practically winding down. He was beaten by another, veteran, talking about Stan Wawrinka, the Swiss number one right now. He was beaten in straight sets in that one. All results. Of course, I also saw a fascinating result, and that's talking about Gasquet doing well in straight sets as well. And of course, the big one, and that should be kicking off in about an hour, in about half an hour now. We'll see Nadal take on, of course, the recently crowned Italian ATP finals, Alexander Zverev. Interesting to see how that plans out. If Nadal should lose that game, perhaps it might be retirement for Nadal. And of course, a glorious career.
Have you greeted the elders?
I greet you, elders, please.
He has greeted.
Pardon me, I greet you. I greet you especially from right here from Boom Radio, from Phoenix Sports. We greet you especially.
So BT616 asked a question, and he says, "Where do you think Osimhen ends up? The end of Napoli this year was a sad thing to watch." I agree with you. It's shocking from being champions to barely qualifying for, and not even qualifying for anything. Where do you see Osimhen ending up?
Well, I said
sharp.
I said it to a couple of people at the beginning of the season. I felt Osimhen should have made his transfer at the time, should have left Napoli at the time. He chose to stay back. They didn't have a fantastic season.
He was injured.
Yeah,
he was injured.
Yeah, they didn't have a fantastic season, injury-prone season for him, a label season whatsoever. But I see a lot of reports out there, that Chelsea might actually get him. Chelsea are actually in the market to actually sign him. Will he want to go to a Chelsea? Is that the right move for him? Interesting to see how that one works out. We'll keep you abreast with that over the summer as the transfer window winds down.
Yeah, and Akinbito says, speaking of jazz, that Edward Mendy own na A level just blew and faded. That's it. Now, the baba where they cook the thing just stepped away. In Peking gonna go pour water on top. Do you know the kind of water where you pour? All right, quickly let's leave that and go and round up. But of course, we were talking tennis for a bit, and live as we speak on Tsitsipas and Fusovic is ongoing out there on court. Zuzane Lelen. And Tsitsipas is leading, but we don't know how it will end.
Of course, his favorites to win that one. He probably wins that one in straight sets, but you never can tell.
So,
yeah.
Peterman says, Onana needs to announce his retirement. Your quick response to
that? Okay. I speak to a lot of Manchester United fans, and of course the jury's out on Onana. There are times it's fantastic. In that game, he made some fascinating,
let me tell you,
fascinating saves. Talking about the final over the weekend,
Onana was exposed because all the backline were injured. That's the thing, and you don't have a Casemiro who has never played centre back with a Johnny Evans who is gone to cover Onana. It's not possible now. Onana was as good as his defense. I don't think he was that bad.
Don't be considered a weak goal. The
Doku goal.
Yeah, the Doku goal.
That's not a weak goal.
And it was.
It was an unexpected shot.
It was at the near post.
So it was an unexpected shot.
I'm sure he must be disappointed.
Onana was not that bad.
He could have saved it.
And
I think he's a fantastic goalkeeper. I think one of the best.
If you check his stats, you will see that it's not that bad.
No, it's not. He actually makes some good saves, but at the same time, he concedes some very. Manchester United fans will tell you all about it.
Yeah, so we're leaving the studio now, but of course, Formula One, at the weekend,
Well, of course, the Monaco Grand Prix, we know that the way that that circuit is difficult overtaking that circuit. Of course, and the interesting part about this one, there was one missing certain Max Verstappen, who seems to be dominating the entire Formula One. Of course, it was a Ferrari 1-2 with McLaren, Piastri making second position there,
and
of course
Piastri making podium.
Yeah, he did. He finished between the Ferrari,
Carlos Sainz,
and of course Leclerc, and of course in fourth and fifth position the McLaren guys Norris, and of course George Russell finishing.
This one is just funny though. Lewis Hamilton, 7.
Well, of course, the beauty about the Monaco Grand Prix was it started with a lot of chaos. And they had to instantly bring out the red flag.
It's hard to overtake.
It's hard to overtake. And the minute the race was restarted, it was just Leclerc was masterfully controlled the whole race all through to making podium on that one.
So we have 2 comments here. BT616 says, Cornelius, you can't defend Onana. You can't make 4 fantastic saves, and then F up for the next one. Is the worst version of Batters. French, we know him now, Fabian Batters.
Yeah.
And of course, Peterman says, please talk about Remo Stazo. We already did, actually. We always open with Nigerian sports. And of course, sadly, in case you don't know, Remo Stad lost, at the weekend. But they are still in the top 3, and they are still in position to win the league. Because any of those guys in top 4 position in the league can still win.
Yes, it's just a 4-point gap between first and second in the Nigerian in the NPFL, and of course it's a gap. It's a 7-point gap basically between first and fifth in that one.
Yeah. All right. So I guess that's our show. There's just one more thing before we go. There's one more thing you want to drop, right?
Well, basically that's about it today on the show, and of course you can always tune in to Phoenix Sports. We'll keep you updated over the summer. We'll bring you the best of the best. And as the break, we're talking about transfer news as the week go into the summer.
Hopefully, you catch us on terrestrial radio very soon. We're working on a deal with a radio station, and very soon you get to listen to
Yeah,
Phoenix
we'll
Sports
give you
at least 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah, we'll give
and
you
of course, the
this
Boomba
was
will be back at 3 on the dot. Toluba will be back for Mekiti. And that's our show, folks. Thanks for being a part of it. You guys are amazing. God bless you. God guide you. God keep you. Peace out.